All right, those of you who were on the call last week, last Thursday with Darlene Long, you know why she's growing. So last week, as you know, based on our new cadence, the first and third week every month is our regional leader-driven meeting. Last week was Darlene Long. Now, if you're on that call, and by the way, many other people besides her group asked to join that call, and Darlene Long, being Darlene, said yes. So she had a good group and she taught some very powerful things. If you want to see why she's growing, look at that video. It's available like all of our Now More Than Ever events. It's available to you right now. I want to mention one thing. In addition to her own principles, she also invited our own Micah Adams to come and teach us about Activate Plus. Now, Activate Plus has at its core Unicity Fuel. Those of you who have either done that program or taken Unicity Fuel, you know how powerful that can be. The people who have taken Activate Plus have found it effective, fast, they've lost weight, they've got better form, all of their metrics improve, and not only that, but they've reached out and they've brought other people to the program. So check out Darlene's video and check out Micah Adams. Worth your while. It's a great business building tool, one of the best we've got. Now, today, for this North America Now More Than Ever call, which happens on the second and the fourth Thursday every month, today we have the pleasure of being hosted by Triple Diamond Erin Weber. Erin Weber doesn't need to have a lot said about him. You know Erin Weber. You know he's smart. You know he works hard. He's very articulate, can knit Afghans with the English language. He knows our business. And he's got some important announcements today, some important introductions. And I encourage you to pay very close attention to my good friend, Erin Weber.
Very good. And thank you, Clayton. I appreciate those kind words in the introduction. And after the last time I hosted this meeting, I'm surprised you're having me back, but I'll do my best to do better than last time around. But I do echo your sentiments relative to Darlene's meeting last week. I've watched it. And as everything Darlene does, it was wonderful, well done, and substantive. So thank you very much. As Clayton indicated, this is part of the new rhythm where the North America wide is the second and the fourth Thursday of the month. And then in between that, first and third, are more regional meetings driven by leaders to create a much more organic approach. And I'm supportive of that. I love that. I think that is a wise and prudent and productive way for us to move forward. Maintains the rhythm, but at the same time allows a deeper dive, and to Stuart's audio file before this, that leadership development so we grow people as we do what we do. Well, you'll also notice on these North America wide ones, a slight adaptation in the balance of how things are done. They're going to be much more leadership involvement in terms of the presentation and the material, certainly complemented by wonderful corporate folks, but a slight tipping of the scale more in favor of existing and, more excitingly, up-and-coming leaders, which I'm excited to hear from as well in weeks going forward. But first, my primary assignment this evening, and one that I'm quite excited about because I met with her earlier in the week, and despite the formal introduction, I can say she's a wonderfully gracious, kindly, qualified, and pleasant lady to deal with, and we're excited to have her on part of the team. Let me tell a little bit about Dr. Erin Glenn. She's joining us from Los Angeles, California, where she led the scientific affairs function for a large, in the R&D department, for a large direct selling company. She's extensive experience in nutritionals, product development, clinical trials, and scientific substantiation, all things which should make us feel pretty darn good. Dr. Erin received her PhD from the University of Texas Medical Branch in biomedical science and completed her postdoctoral fellowship at Duke University studying metabolic disease. And just a quality, gracious, lovely woman. Great to have you on the team. Dr. Erin Glenn, over to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Erin, for that very kind introduction. I can't tell you how ecstatic I am to be here with you all tonight on this call. And I'm really looking forward to discussing Unicity science with you more in the future. But seeing as how today is my ninth day on the job, I'm not here tonight to talk science, but just to say hello and introduce myself. So as Erin said, my name is Dr. Erin Glenn, and I'm very proud to be your new Vice President of Research and Development here at Unicity International. I'm here tonight because I believe in Unicity's mission. As I was interviewing and got to know the people at Unicity and your products, I could really see that there was great passion and effort behind creating products that not only people liked, but that actually worked and that improved people's health. So I can guarantee you, based on my experience in this industry, that you won't find another company that has the level of rigor, the amount of research and clinical studies that we have behind our products, the number of products that Unicity has successfully patented and gotten published in the PDR, and the caliber of scientists that they've brought together. You won't find it anywhere else, and that's truly why I am honored and excited to be here as part of the Unicity team. My background is in physiology, so I am a physiologist by training. I did my bachelor's degree in exercise physiology, and then I went on to get my PhD, like Erin said, in biomedical science, and I specialized in muscle protein metabolism. So that basically just means how your muscles are responding to exercise and the nutrients that we give them through food, how they use those nutrients to build and repair and stay healthy. And then I also studied kind of the flip side of that and how when we don't use our muscles, when we're sedentary or we damage them, or during aging as we lose muscle mass, what's happening on a cellular level then? And how can we use nutrition to return those muscles to optimal health? From there, I went on to my postdoc at Duke University, where I studied metabolic disease, so obesity and diabetes. And really, we were interested there in, again, on a cellular level, determining if we could identify biomarkers that told us very early on that somebody was transitioning to type 2 diabetes or obesity. Could we identify things that helped us catch that earlier so we could intervene and prevent people from progressing to obesity and diabetes? So just to back up a little bit and tell you about why I'm here and my passion for this work, I've been passionate about nutrition and physical activity since I was a child. I was an athlete growing up, and I really was just always fascinated by how nutrition and training could contribute to athletic performance. But it was a little bit later in life that I started to understand also how important improper nutrition or a sedentary lifestyle could be to contributing to negative health effects. So I've had two very close family members have massive heart attacks before the age of 50. And they went on to have a triple bypass and a quadruple bypass surgery. And I can tell you from that firsthand experience, it's a wake-up call that we all really need to be focusing on maintaining and improving our health. So for me, that combination of just very early interest in nutrition with the desire to help my family members be healthier really grew into this passion that I have for sharing my knowledge with you and sharing it with the world. So for me, research and producing products that help people live healthier, happier lives is my drive. For me, a job is not just something that I do from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. A job is really a part of who I am and what I stand for. And that's why I'm so proud to be part of the Unicity team, because I know that we share those values. And I see that in your leaders, in you as the distributors, that you're really here to make an impact in people's lives and make their lives better. So I will close with saying that as your VP of R&D, my job here is to make sure that we continue to deliver innovative and effective products, that we work to continuously improve the products that we have, but also to develop new cutting edge products based on the latest science, and then rigorously test those products to show that they work. I think our future here is very bright, and I'm so excited to be here with you on this journey. Thank you for having me tonight. I'll turn it back to Erin.
Thank you, Dr. Glenn. And I appreciate that great introduction to yourself. I mean, it's interesting to me, and I should say before I go any further, is welcome home. It sounds to me like your profession, your passion, all of that leads you to here. And a lot of the words you're using and the field you've studied are sweet spots for us. So this is a perfect fit. And I look forward, quite frankly, to seeing what you can do in and of the function and the team you lead, but also in concert with our product marketers, and seeing how that synergy comes together and seeing the great products and new and improvedness that'll come along. So let's chat for a moment, folks, if we may. One of the things that Dr. Glenn and I spoke about earlier in the week was sometimes the translation that may be necessary from the scientific or R&D conversations that, frankly, some of us, many of us, and I exclude myself from that, are pretty darn good at delivering, but yet many of us aren't. And I worry sometimes that we try and present the material, present the information because we're excited about it at a level that maybe we aren't quite qualified to do so, and it comes across a little inartful, or we get a little bit anxious because it's not in our natural rhythm or using our natural language in doing so. So this evening, I thought it may be fruitful for me to share with you how I introduced two of our products to people that I'm visiting with as they discover us and what we have and who we are and what we're about. Translating, if you will, the wonderfully valid and robust and deep scientific language and technical language into more of a every person, to be gender neutral, every person style language. It is about science. It's not about science. It's not about creating an illusion of science. It's about substantive, real, genuine, authentic science. But then it's up to you and I to make that translation, because the average person we're speaking to doesn't understand those words. They've heard some of them, but not all of them. So I always start every conversation, even if the person comes to me as a business prospect, with a product conversation. That's the currency we deal with. That's the heritage we come from. That's the strength of our history. I can't imagine any other business conversation, and yes, it is a business conversation, where the products of the business are not part of the conversation. And too many of our competitors just completely ignore their product, even though they claim they're the greatest product since sliced bread. And so I think starting with, or being primarily focused on the product, playing to our strength, actually is a helpful thing in and of itself, but also helps set us apart from some of our direct selling competitors. They're up there drawing circles and lines on the whiteboard, and we're talking about things that matter, products that make a difference for real people that have real problems and the real solutions we have for them. So let me share with you a couple of products, Cleanse and Balance, and if we have a bit of time, maybe one other very quickly. And this is just the way I describe it to prospects and people. And there's training videos I've done on this. There's millions of them on my YouTube channel. Likewise, your upline has probably trained and provided materials to you in this regard, as has the company. And I'd refer you to all those tools for you to get comfortable in describing the products at a level that you're comfortable with. The first one is Cleanse. And if you know me to any degree, you know I'm a big fan of Cleanse. Cleanse is the product that I believe everyone should start with. There's no point introducing a new health regime unless we do something or pay some attention to cleaning out, in many cases, the decades of bad diet and impacted results of that bad diet in people's digestive systems. The analogy I use is that of a vehicle or a car. I say to the prospect, let's call him Bob. I say, Bob, you have a car, don't you? He says, well, yeah, I do. I said, great. Do you change the oil there? Do you tune it up from time to time? And he would say, yeah, I do. And we joke about how it's not as often as maybe it should be, but usually every 3,000 miles, but it's usually about every 5 or 6 by the time we get around to it, when the little sticker on the windshield reminds us to. And then I say, well, Bob, why do you do that? And he'll give me answers along the line of, well, to maintain the asset, to keep it at peak performance, to help it not break down, to prevent future problems, just because I should. I just know I should. And then I say to him, well, Bob, that's great. And your car probably runs better as a consequence of that. But Bob, when was the last time you did that for you? When was the last time you provided an oil change or cleaned out your digestive system, your fueling system, such that you could operate at peak performance, such that you can prevent future problems, such that, et cetera, reflecting back to him the exact same logic he gave me for his vehicle. When you couch that product or that collection of products in a way that is relatable to folks, then all of a sudden the arms unfold and the nodding starts, and they're like, well, that makes a lot of sense. I've never cleaned out here's a technical term for you, my tubes. I've never thought about that, quite frankly, but it makes a lot of sense. Let's chat about that. And then I would generally go into the three constituents there. And I always smile when we talk about cleanse, because I remember way back when cleanse wasn't a pack, when it was just three individual products. And Darlene, back to wonderful Darlene and our friends in Canada can probably remember too, is we were looking for a way from a marketing perspective to increase the average purchase. And so we thought, well, Nature's Tea and Paraway and Life Fiber, those seem like good products that can work together well. Why don't we put them in a pack? And we called it whatever we called it back in those days. And now it's known as Cleanse. And it's fair to say that we built almost the entire market of Canada off that one product. But then I talk about the individual constituents. I say, well, Life Fiber, it's insoluble fiber. And a great experiment to do for you and your prospects is take a scoop of Life Fiber, mix it with water, put it in a bowl, and let it sit there on the bench for half an hour or 45 minutes. And you'll see it becomes kind of Play-Doh-ish, but Play-Doh-ish with little spiky sticking out of it, which is the insoluble fiber. And then I say, now picture that, Bob, moving through your intestines, sort of roto-rootering, if that's a technical term, or bottle brushing through your system, taking all of that impacted stuff off the side of your digestive system, cleaning those tubes, cleaning your intestines such that that which is in there that shouldn't be is out, and you've spring cleaned your system there. And Bob will nod and say, that makes a lot of sense. And he can see how that tactile, Play-Doh-y type consistency could do that. And then we talk about, well, Nature's Tea is designed, and it's one of the very few stimulatory products we have. It's designed to stimulate your digestive system, your colon, to push that fiber along. That's a lot of fiber. We don't want it to become a plug. So we have this Nature's Tea, which is designed to cause those contractions in your colon to move that plug, which is scouring its way along in a nice bottle brush kind of way, taking all that stuff along with it. Kind of sensitive subjects because we're talking about digestion and bowels and all that sort of good stuff, but people get it. And then we talk about Paraway and say, you're going to start scratching and feeling uncomfortable here, Bob, but most of us have from time to time some degree of parasite. If you eat sushi or have pets or work in the garden or just live life, quite frankly, and don't wash your hands as often as you should, you're more than likely going to have some form of parasite. Paraway is designed to remove those parasites. But here's a trick, Bob. Paraway doesn't kill the parasites. Paraway just makes the environment toxic or uncomfortable for the parasites such that they disengage because they are attached, most of them, from your intestinal wall. They get captured by the Play-Doh Life Fiber moving through. They get moved along by the Nature's Tea making things happen. And next thing you know, all of that stuff is outside you. Incidentally, Bob, the reason Cleanse is a 28-day or 1-month program is the life cycle of digestive parasites is at most 21. So we capture the full life cycle of those parasites and we get them out of there. Gross subject as an aside for us, if they're attached, you don't want them dead and attached. You want them dead or alive but out. And then I would say to Bob, look, this will work tomorrow morning. You know it will be working. You won't like me so much, but you'll know it's doing something. And please, Bob, while we're happy to get validation of the output and the results, don't send me pictures. because I have been sent pictures too often by too many people, and I'd rather not open those emails with those attachments. That's how I describe cleanse. When I describe it that way, using a car analogy and describing the mechanisms of the three constituents there, all of a sudden people get it. And they're like, well, that makes a whole bunch of sense. I have the need. You've explained well to me how this thing works. I see why all three need to be there. I see why I need to take it for a whole month. I need that. And then I use the word prophesy. I'll prophesy the results. I'll say, look, Bob, it's going to be maybe potentially uncomfortable for the first week or so because things are going to be happening that haven't been happening for maybe up to decades. Bear with it. Moderate your nature's tea dose mainly, but I'll phone you tomorrow to make sure we're on track and things are working and to help you diagnose and move through some adjustments that we may need to make as we go forward. Then when the result occurs, all of a sudden he's like, well, Aaron knew what he was talking about because this is what's happened. And he's offered to help, and the product's doing what he said it would do. Positive, positive, positive all the way along. The great side effect, which we don't speak about nearly often enough with cleanse, is that at the end of the day, it makes all our other products work that much better. Because while I don't know most of your mother told you, well, you are what you eat. She's mostly accurate, but more correctly, you are what you absorb. Excuse me. And so by cleaning out your system, you're therefore more able to absorb the balance or the fuel or the activate or the base or whatever the case may be. Therefore, you're more able to digest and absorb and get the value of the other products you're taking, even from maybe your substandard diet that maintains along the way. That's cleanse. That's how I describe it. That's how I position it. The great thing for me is within hours, if not a day or two, that is very obvious that it's working and the buying decision has been reaffirmed and I've been seen as a credible source. And the question usually is, hey, this stuff's great. I'm kind of freaked out a little bit, but it's certainly working and I'm glad whatever's coming out has come out. What else do you guys have? And then that conversation rolls forward extremely elegantly. Now, changing tacks just a tad. Balance. The way I position balance, and I've adjusted this more lately, is this. I talk about the largest health problem on the planet, the fastest growing health problem on the planet, and the most obvious health problem on the planet. Cardiovascular disease being one, diabetes being the second, and being overweight or carrying some excess upholstery as the third. Now, we know they're all interrelated issues, but what I've adjusted more recently is I talk more about that being metabolic syndrome or a metabolic issue. The cool thing with that is we're playing in sort of a separate playing field there. People think they know what they need to know about cholesterol or blood sugar or whatever else, and we can have those specific conversations. But I found having the conversation be more general about metabolic syndrome rings a vague bell for someone, but they haven't learned so much about that they've got a preconceived notion and therefore sort of brush me off. So I talk about those three issues: the world's largest health problem, cardiovascular disease; the world's fastest growing health problem, blood sugar management or diabetes; and the world's most obvious health problem, carrying excess fat or being overweight. And then I talk about the solution that balance is. We can balance your blood sugar. We can moderate your cholesterol, increase the good cholesterol, nothing else in the pharmacopoeia that can do that, simultaneous to decreasing your cholesterol, one of the positive side effects of which is your body all of a sudden begins to manage your fat stores that much more productively. And I would suggest how it was designed to function to begin with. So I found that the introduction of that conversation as to balance is much more productive. And I've been doing this about the last 6 months or so when I talk about it and frame it initially in a metabolic syndrome sense. That begs questions. They ask the questions, I answer the questions, and then away we go. The great thing with balance, vis-a-vis cleanse, which is a very different measurable output, is that we can invite people, and we should and we do, to take a widely available, commonly understood, data-based, evidentiary test to prove that that product's working. Diabetics can take their blood sample. You can go get a lipid panel from anywhere And I love the fact, and I point this out to people. I say, look, I'm not going to provide the test to you because I don't believe I should provide the test, because of course, if I provided the test I provide is going to tell you my product's working. What a great surprise. But go to whatever doctor you want. I don't care. Go to whatever clinic you want. I don't even know who that is. And go get this widely available, commonly understood, data-based, unambiguous test, and have that test and that medical professional with all those letters after their name and the stethoscope around their neck and the white coat on, have them tell you our product's working. That invitation alone builds confidence in us, confidence in our competence. It's fair to say, I don't know the numbers, but the vast majority of people don't go and get that test. Most of the guys certainly don't, because it involves needles and drawing blood, and most guys are needle phobic. I am anyway. But the fact that we position that, the fact that we offer that, the fact that we posture that way builds their confidence in the product and creates a positive environment, positive assumption that the product will do what we're going to do. Now, in conclusion, we have a look better, feel better, live better process at Unicity. That's what our products do. That's what our business model does. There is a sequence there. A cute way to remember that sequence is when you meet someone, if you're out dating, you like the way they look. And then you develop some feelings for them over time, such that at the end of the process, you can fall in love, get married, and live together. So you look better, feel better, and then live better. The great thing about Dr. Glenn and the other and the other wonderful scientists we have here is that their job is to help us sleep better. I can't speak the language that the PhDs in white coats can. I can probably do more than I usually let on, but I can't speak in 4 and 5 syllable scientific terms. And if I try to, it comes across as inartful. But I can sleep better knowing that I have those people well-credentialed, well-experienced, doing their job such that that which I present, I know it will do what I say it will do because I know it will do what they said it will do, and I have personal experience with it. In this translation from scientific technical language to every person or every man language, there's a great answer to almost every question if you don't know the answer. And the great answer is, I don't know. But I know where we can find out. Note the language there. Number one, I'm honest. I don't know. And many times I may know, but I'm not confident in my ability to explain it well. So I say, well, I don't really know. I don't fully understand, but I know where we can go find out. And that place where we can go find out has just had a significant upgrade in the last little while. If you haven't gone to unicityscience.org lately, I encourage you to go there. That is a great place to be. And Dr. Glenn, when I visited with her, she was very complimentary of it. I think she nailed it. She said, it's great because PhDs like her, medical professionals like her, understand the rigor that's there and see the scientific method at work and can appreciate the science. But it's also positioned in a way that a non-medical professional like I can still understand it and get an appreciation for it. I don't understand most of what's there, but I appreciate it. Therefore, look better, feel better, live better. And because of Dr. Glenn and others, I can sleep better. Now, the other cool thing with that is it trains your people. It trains them that you aren't the answer to everything. It trains them where to go to find their own answers. And more particularly, it trains them that they don't have to be the expert or appear to be an expert in something that they're not confident in to begin with. They don't need to know because I don't need to know because I know where we can go to get those answers. And that helps them feel like, well, maybe I could do this. Yeah, I don't need to know all this stuff. Even Aaron doesn't know all this stuff, but he seems to be successful here. So maybe I should do what he's doing. It lowers the barriers to, I can do that. So I offer those thoughts, those descriptions to you as something for your consideration, your practice. Again, the tools are out there, the YouTube videos, the company tools, your own uplines tools. Use them as stated, use them as inspiration to build your own. Now, in conclusion, the 1 minute we have left, a couple of announcements that Clayton has asked me to make, and I'll make them exactly as he presented them to me. Number one, now more than ever, next week, next Thursday, same time, same place, will be a regional event. That's August 20th. Not quite sure yet who's hosting that, but that will be a leader-driven one vis-a-vis Darlene's wonderful call of last week. Then the week after that, 2 weeks from today, the 27th, will be the next North America-wide, now more than ever event. And details on that are coming soon. You'll get those from the company in terms of who's hosting and what the subject matter is. Number three, the promo that is currently running is, great surprise, still currently running. And that is its free sign-up. Wonderful opportunity. The barrier to entry has been about made as low as it can be in terms of you're inviting people to join with you, particularly as you begin to, every person or every man, the product in business and opportunity conversation with them. Practice that. It's a great way to go. Thank you. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you investing this 30 minutes in me and in us, and trust it's been fruitful. As always, I personally, as well as your more direct upline, are here to help. Happy to do so. The tools are out there. Our availability is here for you. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.